Good morning, aviators. Welcome to the holding pattern. Well, the last video we put up with Mark Magic Johnson flying Kieran the Red Baron, I got a lot of contacts who kept asking me about, don't you want to get a lot of altitude when you get off the ground? Is that safer than picking up speed when you're over the runway? And that question has been debated since twin engines, and there are certainly people that are way more qualified than me, the Blanco Lirio channel or Hoover or AOPA or the CSO Barron Society, and many, many others are all very involved in figuring out whether the right thing to actually do is. Effectively, with everything I've read and seen, that the procedure seems to sort of focus on a couple of things. Once you know how to run the drill, which is to get the plane cleaned up and get an engine feathered, if in fact that's what you need to do. When you lift off the runway and the gear is still down, and then you experience an engine issue, then you're going down. You're going to land back on the runway whether you want to or not. And you just close the throttles and execute a landing and hope that you don't go through the fence on the end. Once you take your hand off the throttles and you reach for that gear switch, you are committed to go. So now you're flying. And of course, the plane's being cleaned up by the fact that you've got the gear coming up. Presumably you are taking off without flaps, but that's a whole different discussion when you're based upon a short field. So now the question is do we want airspeed or do we want to climb and get some altitude? Well, technically we would like to have both. But the truth of the matter is that VMC is more critical because you certainly want to be able to keep the plane from yawing sideways into the wind until you just VMC roll over, and that's not usually a survivable event most of the time. And so what Magic Johnson was talking about and what he actually performed is to keep the plane basically at a minimal climb until there was literally no runway at all beneath us. By that time, the plane was really well above the MC. So as he started to now climb and gain altitude, certainly at a much higher speed, if in fact there was an engine issue, you've got a pretty good chance of going ahead and getting the right engine, the correct engine feathered, and then go ahead and just proceed straight forward until you eke out your climb and get enough altitude to come back to that airport that you just took off from or a more suitable airport. But the emergency is definitely not over, but the immediate danger is definitely over if the plane is actually flying above VMC and actually able to climb. If in fact is not able to climb but only able to hold altitude, that still gives you an opportunity to figure out what you're going to do in terms of go land somewhere rather than immediately land into the nearest thing right after the runway.